purity of God, light of all creation. Accepting this truth without having to have an understanding of it is the calling. To accept it in the heart and relinquishing all ideas that there is going to be an understanding of a concept or an identity. That is what the mind has been used for in the name of separation. And as love calls you to return and accept that you are the light of the universe, the light of all creation, the purity of God, there is nothing in the belief of separation that can even have an inkling of the scope of perfection that you truly are. That the perfection of this holy light, there is not one element within this holy light that has any concerns. It's not even, there's no concern possible because there is no opposite. There is no good and bad and right and wrong, more and less, light and dark. To have concern, to have worry, is to see the contrast and believe that there is something other than the light, the truth of love. To accept the holiness that you truly are, it is the heart's yes in the divine communion with love itself, with the power of God. And as you say yes to the power of God, every element of the belief of separation can disappear if you are willing. To accept the purity of God as the divine self within is to reject the ideas of all that you think you know, all that you think that you have conceptualized and figured out about this world and what you think it's for, and all of the ideas of the story and how it unfolds and what it all means. All of that disappears in the yes of acceptance of the purity of God. So in the journey of love, every beloved comes to a place of really asking the question within with an honesty that is beyond the old possibilities. And in that honesty, you ask within, what is it that I truly want? Really, for real, what is it that I truly want? And eventually, every beloved will come to the realization that that wanting is peace. It doesn't matter what someone thinks that is represented by. Let's say even a beloved who said, I want a new car. Thinking that that car will bring them to a state of peace within. That they will relax. What they're truly looking for is peace. What they truly want is peace. And that being the natural state, when you find that answer within yourself, what do you truly want? And the truth lightens your mind of its peace. I truly want peace. And in that acceptance, in that realization, all of the ideas of worries and outcomes and expectations and how things should be and beliefs of right and wrong. Somebody should have done this. Somebody should have done that. I should have done this. I should have done that. All made up games of the mind that just distract from wanting to be at peace and rest in God. Just resting. And in this moment, the willingness to rest. Where has the rest been today? This is not a rest that's about laying down. This is a rest, the resting in God, trusting, feeling everything just let go. The mind lets go. All of the ideas just lets go. We let the mind sinking into God, where your prayer just becomes, take my mind and fill it with the light of love. Let every thought that has been made in the mind, let it be surrendered. Just surrendered into the hands of God, so that the mind can be the illumination of pure joy and peace, kindness, benevolence, compassion, all aspects of love. Purity of God, light of all creation. Does the light of all creation have ideas of how things would be and should be within the form of the story? Is there peace there? No. There's righteousness, which sometimes parades as something holy. But when you really meet it, you realize, no, it's just wanting to be right. wanting to have a separate little kingdom where you get to be the king or queen and you rule your kingdom. But this is all just fantasy. Fantasy of a mind that believes in difficulty and sorrow and loneliness and separation. Settling for righteousness. Settling. Settling with the ideas of you figured something out. And even the pride of ownership stirs. The pride of ownership of, I thought this true, I figured this out, I saw it coming, I knew. But all that anybody knows is the belief in light and dark, where somebody must be wrong and somebody must be right. Somebody is to blame and somebody is vindicated. All made up. All the strategies are all the source of pain. The source of suffering. The belief is that the suffering comes because of others, their actions, their lack of love or whatever's perceived. But this is all just a reflection. The reflection of a mind that is filled with fear and projects it out into the world on whoever is close, and projects it out and says, you'll be the problem. I'll be the innocence so that I can project all my ideas outside and then be at the effect of them. This is the self-attack disguised as projection. But love is calling you. Return. Return to love. Holy light of God. Return to the awareness of the truth of all life. Return to peace. Allow yourself to be shown the way. Allow yourself to be led. To truly be in that sidecar and let God drive the motorcycle. And you will begin to recognize peace. Allow to be love that is offered without conditions, without contracts of, I'll give you something only after you give me something. Realizing there's nothing to get. The light of God is complete and whole and is just looking in a direction that isn't truth. Love is calling to come and rest in love, in God. In this moment, in this day, in this use of time, surrendering this day, everything that you thought you knew about it, every reaction that you had, every that kept running of your schedule or your time or your idea of what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day and how am I going to control that, and all of it surrendered. Coming back to rest right here, right now, with the presence of God. Accepting that love is only here, now. Love does not exist in the past. All that was love of the past is here now. And the rest of the past is all the fear and all of the identity of separation. And there's no love in the future because it's not here. But surrender the future into the hands of God. Truly, thy will be done. Take the future and make it unlike the past. Really wanting the past to be washed clean of all ideas of separation. And wanting the future to be God's. In this moment, the willingness to surrender the nervous system, surrender everything you thought you knew about the body, all of its defense mechanisms that have been put in place by the mind that has said, I am unsafe, I am threatened because I am a body, and the willingness to accept, I'm not a body. This body will fall away. This structure, this house will fall away. But the eternal light of God, the eternal spirit of light will never fall away. The eternal light, the eternal spirit that has the body as the outside frame, that spirit, the spirit of love that is you, will never die. There is no death. Totally fabricated, part of the hoax, part of the ideas that have been made up to prove separation. When the mind is attached to you and me, that's a signal that love has been forgotten. You and me, as if there were two. Every beloved is the oneness of God, beyond characters and ideas and stories and shapes and ages, cultural identities, monetary abilities, beyond it all. All of that's been fabricated. The divine spirit of love is your heart. The divine, beautiful spirit that is the light of God, glowing, radiating, offering love. On this day, surrendering this day, surrender this life, surrendering the past, and surrendering the future. Let it be used only for love. Let it be the learning place of love from within. Let it be the happy place of divine alchemy's healing. Let yourself be unraveled in the power of love itself. No limitation to healing. It's all in the surrender. Resting in love. In this moment, in the willingness to surrender, affirming that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. This infinite circle of love truly has no beginning and no end. It is without kinks. It is without broken spaces. It can never break, this continuous circle of love. It's not possible for it to break. Its wholeness is natural. And you are that light within that circle of love, not competing with others in the circle of love, but joining, happy for the divine union of God, happy, joyous, for the holy union of equality, all being of completely infinite equal value of God. In the truth of your existence, your spirit, your life, in that truth, there is no better or worse. There is no progress. This is all the belief in time that has been held as a weapon to prove that life is not eternal. It's just a hoax, a game. In the infinite circle of love, we are one. This universe is all love. All creation is all love. Beyond the form that falls away is the divine spirit of all life dancing, joyously dancing. The sanctuary is filled with love. Nothing else exists. This love radiates into all creation. Reuniting all creation from the idea of separation that has been held in time. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force, we live and move and breathe as one. As one. One heart and one breath. Accepting the purity within. This is a prayer to the Blessed Mother and from the Blessed Mother, a remembering that the Divine Feminine is the comfort to come home and rest, coming back to the divine comfort, returning to the womb of the universe in true reality. The willingness to be led all the time by love. The exquisite joy of being led. The ego idea of being the top dog or victim or whatever combination of roles the ego likes to hang around with, that ego can't follow. It must lead because it wants to win. But in the learning of love, we learn to follow. That's where we discover peace. That's where we discover joy, is in being led, in no longer having to make decisions that cause the nightmares during sleep time. Making decisions on your own based on the past is a terrifying place to live. But when you follow and you allow the truth of God to lead through the Divine Mother, through the Divine Father, through all the divine beings of light, when you follow, there is a resting that is unknown in this world. The divine communion of love. Having confidence and surety about the unfolding of the future because you are following and God is leading. And in there is the peace, and everything is beginning to be recognized as harmony because you are following. And it's the road to heaven. The Rainha da Floresta, the Queen of the Forest, the Queen of the Universe, the Divine Feminine Mother, that everyone is. Has nothing to do with the body identity. It is your heart, the Divine Mother, and the Divine Father. You are also that, one in the truth of love. Rainha da Floresta, I will follow where you lead. I am going where you lead me, I will go. Rainha da Floresta, I will follow where you lead. I am going where you lead. Rainha da Floresta, I am going where you lead. I will follow where you lead me, I will go. I am going to my mother to be healed. She takes me in her arms, and to her I must go. Rainha da floresta, I am going where you lead. I am going, where you lead me, I will go. Rainha da floresta, I love you so. Rainha da floresta, I am going where you lead. I am going to my Father to be healed. I am going in the truth and to be real. Oh, my mother, I am coming to you, Father, let me be. I am coming to my mother, let me be. I am going to be healed in the heart of love. I am going into love. Rainha da floresta is calling us home. Come, my sisters, come, my brothers, come with me, let's go. Let your heart be led. Feel the draw to allowing the brilliance of the universe to lead you. All wisdom, the entire wisdom of the universe is wanting to lead you. And only the arrogance of insanity could say, no thanks. I like my mind. I like what I think. I like my way. I have a plan. I think I know something. When it's so easy to follow, so exquisite to follow. Love keeps calling you until everyone eventually will follow. You can delay, but you can't change the journey. I am humble. I called there in the highest. My mother answered me. I am humble. I am humble. I am a humble child of yours. My mother, you taught me to bless and remember the truth of love forever, forever, forever with the truth of God. I'm the child of truth, and I'm the child of this universal power forever, 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 to have faith in love itself, in purity, in wholeness, forever. Chame lá nas alturas, a minha mãe me respondeu. Sou realidade, sou realidade, sou realidade, filho sei. A minha mãe que me ensinou para sempre a Deus louvar. Para sempre, para sempre, para sempre, onde está? Sou filho da verdade, do poder universal. Para sempre, para sempre, para sempre acreditar. Forever, forever. These words are sung forever, forever, forever. I am a child of God. For the trance of truth to replace the trance that you've been in of separation and death. Forever, 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 for all of eternity, I am one with God. Forever, 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 I am a child of God. No beginning and no end, forever. I am the light of God. Forever, forever, forever. No beginning, no end. Only love is real. This is the place of humility. The humility to accept, I will follow. The humility to accept, I don't know how to look at anything without the truth of God telling me and showing me the way. I don't know what anything means. I don't know how to look at this world. Show me the way, dear God. Show me the way. Help me to see the brilliance of the universe, the light of every beloved, the innocence of all creation. Help me. Help me. It is possible to pray all the time. It is so possible that once you enter through that door of that constant prayer, you can't imagine being in your own mind again, thinking about what you think you know, or how things should be, or what they all mean, or your conclusions and assessments and opinions. All of it just fabrication. But the first step to remembering and coming back into that communion is prayer. Because prayer sparks your deeper awareness. It sparks, it opens the door to remembering communion, making that connection. Prayer is all in the heart. It's the heart's murmuring of its deepest, deepest longing, of its deepest, deepest awareness of that sublime union of oneness. Unnameable God, I feel you with me at every moment. You are my food, my drink, my sunlight, and the air I breathe. You are the ground I have built on and the beauty that rejoices my heart. I give thanks to you at all times for lifting me from my own confusion, for teaching me, even while I have been in the darkness of ignorance, and showing me the path of life. I stay in gratitude because I want to be with you. I come to the center of the universe and I rest in your perfect love. In your presence there is a fullness of joy and blessedness forever and ever. Para sempre, para sempre, para sempre. E Deus. I feel you with me at every moment. This is an intention. Some are able to say, I feel you with me in every moment. And the more that you affirm that within your heart, that that's what you truly want, and that that's what really reality is, because God is everything and nothing else exists. So to not feel God with you in every moment is the clear indication of a fantasy world that's been made up, that has no reality. And the willingness of remembering that God is your food, all nourishment. Nothing else that is not of God can bring any nourishment. It's not possible. It's only in surrendering everything into the hands of God to be used for love, to be used as the blessings of creation. You return it. You return every situation, you return it into the hands of God. Take this situation, dear God, and use it for the teaching of love. I surrender it. That's what the surrender is. I surrender this day to be used only for love, which means I won't interfere with the habits of the past. I will follow. I will listen. I will invite. I will question where my loyalty is from moment to moment. Where is my surrender? Moment to moment. You are my food, my drink, my sunlight, and the air I breathe. In that remembering moment to moment, that yes and that acknowledgement says, I don't want anything else. I don't want anything else because nothing else exists. And I must recognize that God is the air that I breathe. God is the sunlight in which I stand. God is the food of all nourishment. God is the drink that quenches all thirst. The well of love that is ever flowing and waiting to be imbibed is all the power of God. I give you thanks at all times for lifting me from my confusion. To recognize that there is confusion is the first step. But to recognize that the only way that confusion can be lifted is by surrendering that confusion into the hands of God. That's where the transformation is. That's where the power of healing is. The power of healing is not in the little mind of the ego that wants to make up little stories about what it thinks it knows. There's no healing there. There's no reality. And God is calling you to step out of this confusion and to really accept that the love that is called God is so perfect and so immense and so everything that it heals you while you're even in the insanity. Just with your yes. Just with the yes of willingness. I acknowledge that God is showing me the path of light. I can't find the path of light, the path of life. I can't find it without the surrender to be led to the path of life, because I won't recognize it in the mind of insanity, of separation. I won't recognize the light. I won't recognize the true life. God, show me the way. Show me the way. I have come to the center of the universe. I rest in your perfect love. The center of the universe is what you're being called to. The center of the universe where all love exists. The center of the universe instead of the little story that you're holding on to of your personal identity, believing that those situations have anything to do with reality. And God is calling you to the center of the universe to learn of love so that you can offer love and heal all the beliefs of separation that humanity holds. Healing it by letting God have your life, not by becoming a qualified teacher with a credential, but by going to the center of the universe and just saying, teach me to love. That's my schoolroom. In your presence, dear God, there is a fullness of joy and blessedness forever and ever. And the acceptance of that divine truth, the trust, the leap of faith that it takes to step into that fullness of joy that God is waiting to show you. As you release into the hands of God all that you've made up that stands in the way of that divine communion. There is a beautiful teaching that came from one of the divine beings that came onto the earth plane after Jesus, the one who was called Jesus. And in the prayers of love, this beloved recognized that if I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, have not discovered love, the love that is the truth of God, then I'm only a sounding gong or a clanging cymbal. There's no reality and no value at all, even to speak with the tongues of men and of angels, if love is not the wholeness of your existence. And if I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so that I can move mountains and have not love, then I am nothing. If I have the gift of prophecy, thinking that beloveds who think they can see the future and have predicted the past are living in a fantasy, in the belief that what you see about the future is only what you have already made in your own mind. All that you're seeing is the prophecy that the story is real, the prophecy that your identity is valid, and that you predicted the outcome of a story in your life, not realizing that you made up the story in your mind to begin with and were already determined that it be of pain and suffering because of the belief of pain and suffering. But in truth, none of that is real. None of that is truth at all. The willingness to learn of love. And if I give all I possess to the poor, and if I give my body to be burned, and I have not love, then I am of no use for anything. No expressions in this world have any value unless their intention is to offer love. Giving to get has no relationship to love at all. So when we try to give with the hidden agenda of getting something from something else, an experience, a situation, a beloved, we're fooling ourselves because there is no love there. And so it means nothing. To give and to offer love is to offer love and have no expectations of any reciprocation, because it's the acceptance that you have everything, that there's truly nothing to get. That is where the sanity is. That's where the reality is. To give freely without any expectations is the purity of love. And that is the truth of all existence. And that is what is being called to remember. To not try to believe that you can foresee the future when all you're foreseeing is your past. Replaying old tapes and saying, see, I knew it would turn out like this because this is what I believe in. When you put the future into the hands of God, it unfolds in harmony and peace. And it's nothing personal. There's no gain of the world there, but just the opening of the heart, the opening to love, and the remembering that every beloved is just the purity of God. And you can come home to that divine union with everyone and everything. You are the sun in drag. You are God hiding from yourself. Remove all of the ideas of mine, M-I-N-E, ownership. That is where the veil is. All the ideas of getting, all the ideas of this is my story, my world, my ideas, my needs, my conclusions, my outcomes, mine. This is the scariest place in the universe, is this belief of mine. Every time that you have an idea of mine, you suffer. There is suffering in it because everything contracts. Everything closes up to the truth of oneness. Everything becomes in your mind the idea of protection, defense, and getting. Winning from the past finally. Overcoming the past finally through winning. But it's all fabricated. And it's all the veil that keeps the truth of love unavailable. Why ever worry about anything? Now, maybe this looks like a Hallmark card. Why worry about anything? But truly, why is there worry about anything? If you have put the future into the hands of God, there is no story to hold on to and manipulate and figure out how it should be and what it's going to give you and how you're going to save yourself. This is where the honesty is. The honesty of saying, I don't know what this journey needs to look like. But that everything, every single form within the journey or the perceived journey, every single form is just showing you your beliefs. That's all. When you have a reaction in the world, in your everyday life, and you have a reaction, your reaction is telling you what you believe in. When something is personal, when something is something to worry about, it's showing you that you have an idea that you can be hurt and that you are your identity. And love is calling you home through that that journey of recognizing every time you think of something that is a worry, it's just the reflection of your mind, your beliefs of separation, and it's the opportunity of surrender. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because love will direct me. And you come back to that alignment and you rest there in trust and faith that you don't have to worry, that God is, you've given your life to God. You have given your life to God, and there is nothing ever to worry about. There is no death. There is no problem. It's all fabricated in the mind. An illness. It's a fever of separation. Listen to what your beloved teacher knows for certain. The appearance of this world is a magician's trick. Although in affairs, and it shows that it is nothing into nothing. It is truly nothing into nothing. This is not a place of despondency. This is a place of joy, of realizing that all the belief of problems and pains and sufferings is for nothing. You're the light of God. And God's journey for you to come home is one of peace, one of recognizing there really is nothing to worry about. You are a divine elephant with amnesia, trying to live in an anthole. That's how ridiculous the worry is in the world, or the thinking that you're going to figure out these problems and you're going to set the world straight and that you're going to change your life on your own. When we attempt to work on our own, we are like an elephant with amnesia trying to live in an anthole, spinning in circles, trying to figure out how to use the past in a different way, but you can't unless you surrender into the hands of God. My divine sweetheart, you are God in drag. The costume that you wear doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. It's just a costume. You're God in drag. The identity that you're carrying in this lifetime, you can list with all the other identities that you've lived, but to not surrender the identity into the hands of God just makes your day, your life, your journey worrisome. You worry because you believe you know the outcome you should have. And the outcome that you want is always about self-protection. This is what the ego wants, is self-protection, self-defense, planning, strategizing, being careful, being cautious, but also demanding. And in all of that, there's nothing but pain. It's not a place of love. It's a place that says, I don't know the truth of love at all. And I'm not available for it. And yet love keeps calling you. Learn to be quiet within. Learn, willing to learn. God will take you to that quiet place. All the spirit divine, light of love beings will take you to that place quietly within and show you the way to drop into that stillness, resting with your divine self and letting God commune. Learn to be quiet so that the voice of love is heard in the stillness. Be available. But you can't be available if you're impressed with your knowing and believing that you have to stay in charge on your own and figure things out, instead of following the truth of God. How many times a day do you bargain with surrender? This is only a question because in the trance, it would be such a habit that you wouldn't be aware of it. But when you begin to question, am I bargaining with surrender? I want an outcome of some situation. If I want that outcome, I've missed the awareness of truth, because the outcome that you want is a conclusion. It's a good or bad, right or wrong. And the outcome that will come from the hands of God will be a teaching, a learning, a discovery of what has been in the way of your remembering of divine truth. That's what every situation is for, is your learning. What are you learning from it? Are you willing to be available to learn from God's grace what the situation was for, and to learn the truth of every beloved, and what you thought you knew about them, what you thought you knew about any situation? The willingness to just surrender. The journey of love is not to seek for love. Even though it is the journey of love, it isn't to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers that you've made against love. This is where the ego rebels. It says, no, I've got better things to do. I'm smarter than that. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to live a different life. Because the ego is not wanting your honesty to come into manifestation. Your honesty of honestly looking at what you believe in and what judgments and assessments and opinions that have been held. All the barriers that you've made against love that they're untrue. They're just made up. But the willingness to bring those all to the light with the help of the Holy Spirit, bringing all of the barriers that have been made against love, bringing it to the light itself, wanting healing. All the barriers that you have made against love. This is the way home. Every single thought that you have that of separation, all the barriers that you've made against love that say I'm right and you're wrong and you should have done this and I should have done this, and all of this made up ideas, or the situations in the world, or whatever it is that you're looking at and you think you know something. It's all surrendering it all into the hands of God, and really accepting that all of these ideas, all of these thoughts they're too small and meaningless to occupy your holy mind. They can't enter the holy mind. You can't hold on to the meaning of your petty blames and ideas within the world and open to your holy mind. So God is calling you to shine the light with God on all the barriers that you've made against love. The willingness to have that honesty. Coming back to prayer again and again and again. I am willing. Show me the way. I will follow. I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Divine Mother, Father, show me the way. Show me the truth of this moment. Show me the truth of this thought. What is this thought for? Is it to serve love? Is it of God? Are you surrendering it into the hands of God? Would God say that? Would God say those words that you're thinking? Is this something that God would say? If it isn't, it's totally fabricated. It's not of love. Is what you're thinking the compassion of God, the kindness of the Divine Mother, the comfort of truth, and the willingness just in that moment to recognize I'm believing in something that has no reality. I'm willing to surrender it now and come back and learn to love with the heart. My heart. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. There isn't another world out there. There isn't a story that's unfolding out there. It's all in the mind. And it's all a self-deprivation in the belief that self-attack is legitimate, disguised within righteousness, disguised in being a victim of others, disguised in wanting to be right. But to realize you're the only one that can deprive yourself of anything. Finally, when you accept that it's only the mind that is where your pain and suffering is, in that acceptance, healing can truly occur in such tremendous force of love. Because now you realize where the limitation is hiding. It's just hiding in the mind. Hiding behind ideas and conclusions and situations and the ideas of problems. None of them really exist at all. There's nothing to worry about. Why ever worry about anything? There's no worry in God. There's no worry in you. This moment is the exquisiteness of love itself. Right here. And there is no other moment. If you just stay here in this moment of love and rest here, and not let the mind have its way of the habits of the past, you will discover the light within. Forgive every situation that you have carried in the belief that it had any reality at all. Does this go against the world and its values and its rules and its ideas of success and all of the stories that are built in the belief of separation? Does it go against that? It doesn't go against it. It just doesn't join it. Because all of those ideas of the world and situations and relationships and how they are and what they mean and all of it, it's all fabricated. Bring love to every relationship. Give it to God. Give the relationship to God. Only in that surrender will the relationship open to the purity of love, become the blessed communion, surrendering it all. Forgiving every idea that's been the mistaken concept of separation made up in the mind. Forgiving every relationship that you've ever made up in your mind, and the acceptance that you made them all up in your mind. All the meaning that you have given to everything is totally fabricated. I've given it all the meaning that it has truly means that you've covered it up so that you can't see the light of God behind your meaning that you made up. This moment, surrendering all the meaning and coming empty onto God. Only love. You are the sun in drag. You are the light of God in a costume, in a story. Give the story, give the costume over to the divine. Let it be used for love. Even in its temporariness, let it be used only for love. Let it express only love. And that it will be. Accept your mission to extend peace and rest in that peace, in the light of love.